When I was 5 years old, my mom and dad took me on a canoe trip to the Arctic. It was a great adventure, but I didn't remember much, so we're going back this year.
And the paddle in the water is a long lost friend. There are times I'd like to wander down a river without end, in a hull of flowing cedar, carved by knowing hands, that sings of rushing water, the spirit of the land.
Going on canoe trips isn't always hard work. Sometimes there's time to relax. I like to carve. I think I'm gonna make a canoe. Some tree stumps, an old tumble-down cabin, and 3 grave markers is all that's left of the Hornby expedition. This is a tragic tale of 3 English explorers who died on the Thalon River of starvation in the 1920s. I'm learning how to canoe from my parents. This is my dad. He's an awesome canoeer. He can make a canoe do anything he wants. Too bad he's not that graceful on land. I'm starting to carry big packs like my mom and dad. I'm getting pretty good at it. I can carry it for a while. But I think I'm gonna ask my mom how to put it down. All along the river, there's lots of different birds, like peregrine falcons, plovers, and they've all got different ways of protecting their nests. On the island, we had to walk very carefully, because the birds' eggs looked exactly like rocks, and we didn't want to crush them. Farther down the island, we saw a little furball running in the grass. It ended up being a tern chick. They look funny when they waddle in the sand. Terns protect their babies by dive bombing anything that invades their territory, but they've got another secret weapon.
Are you ready?
Mom and I have found a practical solution to that. We just put the old kitchen pot to use.
And the paddle in the water is a long lost friend. There are times I'd like to wander down a river without end, in a hull of flowing cedar, carved by knowing hands, that sings of rushing water, the spirit of the land.
We saw lots of animals, but the ones that gave us the most concern was the muskox. One night we had a visit from a red fox while we were cooking supper. At one point in time, he looked like he was gonna steal our food from us. All along the river, we saw lots of animals, like wolves and siksicks. People think it's cold up in the Arctic. We thought it was warm, because the sun shines 24 hours a day. We could play all day, and all night if we wanted to. I think I'm lucky to be able to go on these trips with my family. This is my mom. She's a great paddler, but she's an awesome cook. I even scrape out the pots.
So when the sun is rising, strong to melt the snow, I gather pack and paddle, and north away again I go.
One of the neat things about animals in the Arctic, they've never seen humans before. That means they let you get real close. All right! But I don't like all the animals. I hate the bugs. They drive all the animals crazy. But there's one thing that bugs me even more. My brother. But most of the time, we're pretty good friends. People have been using this river for thousands of years. Everywhere the caribou cross, we'd find a muskox of stone, centuries old. As we walked along the ancient campsites, we'd see bone fragments and stone tools. Occasionally, we'd find a really cool stone arrowhead like this one. On day 22 of our canoe trip, the thing that I most wanted to happen actually did happen. There across the river were the caribou.
Well, I knew a man who danced in the spring, a wilderness waltz, a paddler's fling, and he roamed all alone from breakup till fall, heeding a wilderness call. Learning the notes of the song of the land was a lifetime's adventure's reward. Where the wilder the route, the better the plan for a method of living adored. From a backcountry lake in the stillness of dawn to Superior shore, with a storm coming on. From where in the length and the breadth of the north our wilderness waters have roared. Well, I knew a man who danced in the spring, a wilderness waltz, a paddler's fling, and he roamed all alone from breakup till fall, heeding a wilderness call.
In a few days, our canoe trip will be over. Soon I'll be going home, but I'll miss the river. The piece of wood I started with is finally turning into a canoe. As we paddle into the lake where the plane will pick us up, I decide to let my little canoe free. Maybe the wind and current will take it to a distant shore where another child will find it and play with it like I did. Now I'll never forget this adventure in the land of the midnight sun. Not long after the plane arrived, we were on our way home again. As we flew over the river, I couldn't help but remember all the adventures we'd had on it. I had wondered about my little canoe, and did it like to paddle free.
And the paddle in the water is a long lost friend. There are times I'd like to wander down a river without end, in a hull of flowing cedar, carved by knowing hands, that sings of rushing water, the spirit of the land.
After all the time I spent carving this, you didn't think I'd just leave it on the river, did ya?